Okay, part 2. So just to recap, this is a video for the forhire subreddit. My name is Dan. I'm otherwise known as Solid Whetstone. I moderate forhire, and I'm here to help you get work. I'm going to explain a few things that I found through my personal research in this, I guess, because I've had to get work a number of times. How to get hired. So it's some of it's common sense, and some of it's like trial and error, just stuff that I've learned, I've had a lot of practice to try to get it right. So hopefully some of the things I say will be a little bit helpful to you. So the purpose of this video is to talk about your personal website. And I know the first thing you might be thinking, which is, why do I need that? Like, I don't do web design or something. Maybe you're a seamstress, or I don't know. Maybe you're typically you work with your hands or something, and you're not a digital person. That's okay. What I want you to think about is, you have a resume, because we went through resume in step 1, or video 1. So you need like a central location to send people to, because other websites are going to come and go. LinkedIn, I mean, I'm sure LinkedIn will be around for a long time, but LinkedIn isn't really a great way to let your personality come through as far as what your skills are and who you really are, like what you really have to offer. So LinkedIn, you should have it. You should be connected on LinkedIn and use by all means, use every tool that you have. But your personal website is going to be a way that you can write up your own case studies and show examples of your work, package up some recommendations really nicely on there, and have a centralized place for people to download your resume and send you an email or make a phone call to you and things like that. So even if your website is a Tumblr or a blog or something like that, that's not necessarily a hosted thing, but you're using another service, but you have a centralized location for everything, that's fine. My preference is just to set up a website, but you may not be tech savvy enough to do it. So if that's the case, try to set up a blog or something where you can start. Maybe you can post some files somewhere, like your resume, and then link to it. Maybe on Google Drive or something like that. So let's talk about a few of the essentials of having your website. Number 1, you absolutely have to make it obvious what you do or who you are. So on your front page, on your home page, either have some videos of you doing your work, or have a write-up, or some kind of like hit by hit explanation of who you are and what you're about. If you can do video, that's great, because video just goes a long way. Photos of your work work really well, and of course, content, writing some good content that explains what you do. Then dig into it, have a deeper page with examples. So if you make jewelry, a lot of photos of your jewelry. If you're an artist, a lot of pictures of your artwork. If you're a programmer, a lot of case studies. So you may not have the exact code that you've written, but you certainly know which projects you worked on and what features you built and what the outcome of that was. So even if you don't have samples, you can still do a nice write-up with the logo of the company you worked for, or the logo of the company the project was for, or something. There's still some imagery you can get in there and still do a paragraph write-up of what the problems were, why you were able to come in and help, and what the outcome of that was. As much of that as you can do. If you can write 3 good case studies on yourself, it's going to go a long way. Like me as a recruiter, or as a hiring manager, or somebody who's going to give you a job, if I can go in there and read a well-written explanation of how you improved the team that you were on and got a project underway, or completed a project, I'm like, well, I want to talk to this person because they get results, So prove that you're capable. And even if you don't have like professional experience, but you've done this at school or on the side, that's fine. Write up your case studies anyways for the project that you had to work on, and how you worked through it and solved it, and what the result was. Another thing I would recommend is, maybe this is just general advice, always have side projects going. Always. At least one. If you can have more than one, fine. But if one is at least good enough. And what that does is when you sit down and talk to people, or even on your website you can talk about it a little bit, but you sit down and talk to people and you're like, look, this is what I'm working on right now, this is why I'm enthusiastic about it. If you're a bricklayer, you know, maybe you're building a barn in the back, or maybe you're, who knows, I don't know, maybe you're breaking outside of that and taking some classes in some other kind of construction. That increase of knowledge, increase of projects, and it shows prospective employers that you're not sitting on your butt, you're actually proactively learning, proactively becoming better at your craft, and you will be better in a year than you are right now because you're progressively increasing your knowledge. So when they bring you in, they look at you like an investment. I'm bringing this person in, and in a year they're going to be even better than what they are right now. So show that movement. Don't just come in and say, this is who I am, this is what I do, please give me a job. Like, come in and be enthusiastic and say, I'm working on these projects, I'm really excited about it, and I'd like to be able to do some similar stuff for you. Another thing that's really important that you want to have is your referrals. So if you've got any LinkedIn referrals, or if you can get people you've previously worked with or worked for to write up a paragraph for you and just email it to you, you know, if you get their permission to use their name or even their picture, that will go a long way. So if I can see a page, you know, of 10 really well-written referrals, I'm like, okay, so, you know, this person was a good student. He was always getting his projects done. The quality of the projects was high. He's got a year or two of experience, and some of the project work he did in there was good as well. He's got some referrals. It shows he's got history, you know. Speaking of history, you'll definitely want to have a more expanded work history. So you can only fit so much on your resume. I wouldn't blow it past 2 pages. But you can always put on your resume, you know, to see extended work history, visit mywebsite.com. And then you can take your time there and you can really write out an expanded version of what you were doing over the years and what kinds of projects. And so if somebody wants to spend more time looking through your work and where you've been and what you've been doing, that's how they can do it. And then the last thing I would say is make sure you have a really good contact or about page that has all your contact. Just make sure it's really easy and accessible for people to download your updated resume, to email you, to call you, and even a little bit of info about you, maybe what your hobbies or interests are, maybe some side projects you're working on, just to show that, hey, I am a human being, I am doing things, I do have a family, I'm active in, you know, this charity or that kind of thing or whatever. Showing activity makes you more interesting, more hireable. And it just shows that you're always moving, you're always active, and that's the kind of person that people want to hire. The other thing is talking about your personal brand. You know, if you can find a template or a design that's nice, that's going to go a long way. Definitely make sure that you're buying your own name, domain name. If you need to buy the whole thing, middle name too, that's fine. It's only going to cost you like $8 to $10, depending on where you get it from. If you need help setting that up, there are people out there. There's r/assistants. Maybe even somebody in forhire could help you. There's a number of resources on Reddit. If you're not as tech savvy and you need to have to set up a website, there are plenty of people on Reddit that are willing to help you. I'm sure of it. Especially if you need work. I mean, it's clear you don't have money, so I mean, people are going to try to help you. You just need to ask, you know, see who's out there and who's willing to help you. So that's it. That's what I would say about the website, is make sure you cover all those bases. In the next video, in part 3, we're going to talk about recruiters and why I think they're better than shooting out a million applications on websites. See you in video 3.